Yes, y'all. We're back here at the Skratcher podcast. Welcome. We got the fam in the house. LJ2, DJ Gumbeaux, Jointz, and Rayted. And we have some very special guests today. Shout outs to Tina T Presto One. Thank you for joining us today. Today we're going to be talking about a camp for teenagers called Camp Spinoff. It's a DJ camp. But before we kind of get off into that, we kind of want to know how the camp, like the history of the DJs behind the camp. So starting off with Tina, I've known Tina for a very long time. I think I met you when you were about like 13, 14 or something like that?
Yeah.
And when I first met you, you were already like promoting shows and stuff. So from there, what was the initial spark that made you want to actually DJ?
Well, you were a huge part of that. It was, I came across some turntables and I had no idea. It was just like literally my sister would drag me over to her friend's house, your cousin, Nate.
Yeah.
And they wanted to go sneak away and do stuff. And I'm like the annoying little sister they needed to like have occupied with something. So they're like, well, look, here's some turntables, here's some records, put them on, have fun. We'll be back in a few hours. So I just kept playing music and getting into it, and they'd come over and I'm like, hey, check this out. And then Nate was like, you got to meet my cousin. And so once he introduced me to you, I came to a DJ battle in Seattle and saw you do your thing, and I was just like, whoa, this is a whole thing. This is a community of DJs. It's a culture, like everyone knows each other. And I was just, especially at that age, I was just blown away and I just wanted to be part of it. So, and then you welcomed me in with open arms. And DV1, I signed up for a class at a local church. DV1 was teaching like a Skratch class. So I was one of like 3 students in that class and just kept going from there. Started doing battles and yeah, it was fun.
Yeah, because like really quickly you kind of fell in with the South End Skratchers, and you were over there like cutting with us and stuff all the time.
Yeah,
and, like picking stuff up.
E-Fade was always like, come over anytime. They had like 4 turntables set up, maybe, I think it was more, maybe 6 turntables set up, and we would kind of question and answer, and there was always just an instrumental playing, and you could hop on and cut anytime, and it was 5 minutes down the street from my parents' house. So
yeah, what year was this?
95, 96. Yeah, it was the most overstayed invite ever. All the way until from like the age of 15, 16, I guess I was driving at that time, and until I left to college, I just spent every day at their house cutting.
And like at E-Fade's house too, like E-Fade I don't think he was ever awake during the day. He just stayed up like all night. So you could like literally go over there, and if you wanted to scratch till the sun came up, that's how it was going down over there. And it'd be like Q&A, people like doing turntable like band stuff, breaking out and stuff. It was always a lot of fun over there. But yeah, from there you ended up going and actually getting into battles. What was that experience like for you in your first battles?
Well, I remember early on getting some advice because I didn't feel like I was ready, and I probably would have spent years never feeling like I was ready. But I remember someone saying like, you just gotta do it so that you can get comfortable under that kind of pressure. Because as you guys all know, like that pressure of battling with like no one's dancing, right? I always try and explain this to people that don't know, because they probably picture like a nightclub, and I'm like, no, it's nothing like that. Like there's someone counting you down, like 3, 2, 1. Everyone's just staring at you. There's bright lights. And you might spend 3 months working on a routine, like every second of that routine, and then you do it, but you're nervous, so your hands are shaking, and you have a needle that's skipping, and there's so many elements. But the more you do it under that, there's nothing that can replace that pressure. Like you can practice at home for months and months and months, but until you do that same routine under that pressure, you'll never be able to. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to enter everything, struggle through it, and try and get used to that pressure. So yeah, it was, I don't think I ever won any battles at that time, but it wasn't about winning. It was about just getting like comfortable battling under that pressure. But the cool thing about the battles in Seattle was like everyone knew each other and we were all supportive. So it never felt like we were actually like battling each other. I mean, we were, but we were also getting done and high-fiving and being like, good job, like giving each other props. So it was a really, really supportive scene in Seattle. And I'm lucky that I was able to have that. I don't know if it's like that everywhere. Maybe other people have different stories, but I always felt supported by everyone.
Yeah, because then from after Seattle and eventually with battling, you ended up in some crazy type, I guess, battle competition situations like Master of the Mix. How was that experience?
Oh, that was not supportive. That was a lot of years later. I mean, I've had a lot of friends on there too, but that was like, I always relate that battle to like the Hunger Games, or I guess you can kind of relate, reality TV to the Hunger Games. And sometimes people would say like, oh, everyone's just acting on reality TV or whatever. And I'm like, dude, if they gave us lines to read, it would be the worst thing you've ever seen, because we're not actors, right? Like, it would look even worse if we were actually trying to act. So like nothing was ever, if anything, they wanted to see you fail. Like they would set you up to fail because that made good shots for them, right? So you're like kind of fighting them working against you.
Wow,
unless they had a narrative for you to like be like this breakout, then they're just like waiting for you to mess up. So anyways, the Hunger Games, right? I always pictured like there's these people upstairs somewhere and they're just like lighting fires. They're like, oh look, we're gonna light a fire over here so that Tina's gonna get stressed out and go yell at that person. Like for example, one day they took everybody's laptops. Imagine how stressful that is when you're on a DJ competition and you only have like 4 hours to put a set together before doing it live that night on national TV, and they take everyone's laptops. And they don't explain why. And then when they bring them back, they give everyone their laptop back except me. So everybody's got a head start working on their routine for the battle that night, and I'm just pacing around like, what the F? Like, I don't understand. Why? You know what I mean? I'm like, why me? Why don't I? And like, no one's giving me answers. And that's the kind of stuff that now I'm just fighting. And I'm like the most, chill, like even-keeled person, but you take my laptop away or you do some stuff like that, and I'm going to start freaking out. And I'm like, they got me. They got me. They got me stressed out. They got, so it's a crazy world. I wouldn't ever do reality TV again, but I don't regret doing it. It was a great opportunity to just be on a national stage. Originally, I wanted to do it to really get the word out about Camp Spinoff.
Right.
But then I realized as soon as I got accepted that it's sponsored by an alcohol company. So anything I ever said about camp or working with underage or youth, they'll never air it. So yeah, good times.
Definitely a crazy whole experience for sure. Were there any really cool people you got to meet through that experience?
Yeah, they had different guests like Kid Capri was cool. He was the kind of judge where, I mean, he was like really stern and kind of like the mean judge, but him always being mean, when he did have something nice to say, it meant a lot and it made you feel really good because he never just says something just to be like nice. So he was cool. Lil Jon came on as a guest. Yeah, there were different people. Like DJ Dimepiece was, she was super cool on the show. Like I made friends with a lot of people on there. Yeah.
That's what's up. So from Seattle, you ended up, what was the journey like from there? You went to college after that.
Yeah, in college, I had a dorm room and I brought my turntables, and it was such a small room that I had to set them up. I couldn't set it up like even battle style. I had to use shelves, and I had one turntable on a shelf and the other turntable, one turntable and a mixer here and the other turntable below it. And I was scratching in my room and someone knocked on my door. He's like, hey, I can hear you scratching and stuff. You're really good, but have you ever thought about like doing like clubs and stuff, like mixing? And I was like, no, I've actually never thought about mixing ever. And he's like, so I went, his name was DJ Goldfinger. I think he's still actually out at Washington State University. He does like all the clubs out there, all the events and stuff. And he brought me into a club. At this time, I still wasn't 21. So I had to just hang out in the DJ booth. I guess when you're under 21, it's like if I went to the bathroom, someone had to escort me to the bathroom and stuff like that. But he would show me kind of the strategy of working a room in a club. He'd be like, all right, I'm going to play this song, and those two girls in the back of the room over there, it's going to make them come up here, and then those guys are going to dance with them. And it was like a puppeteering kind of thing that I found fascinating. So I just really would kind of shadow him at clubs for a while. Then I started mixing. And then when I came back to Seattle, I brought a bunch of, like pop top 40 records with me to the house we were just talking about. And I got so much crap for it. Like so much. Everyone was making fun of me. And they're like, oh, you're playing all that like pop music. Like I got clowned so bad. But yeah, that was how it started. Just doing clubs and got into mixing. The first time I tried to mix records though in front of people, it was disaster. It was a study group. And there was a bunch of people studying in a hall on the college campus, and you'd sign up. It was kind of like an open mic, but for DJs. So I would sign up for like a 30-minute spot. And I got up there and just train wrecked so hard. And everybody in the room, you saw it. It was like nails on a chalkboard, like, and everybody looks up like, what is going on? So, yeah, it's been a journey. That was fun.
Yeah, you definitely came a long way with that for sure. Now, so once you got out to Vegas, like, how did you and Presto actually meet initially?
How did we meet? I don't even.
I want to say body English
For Monster Energy drink like way back and doing with the drummer, but it was before that I met you.
No, we knew each other before that. I think
English.
I think for sure Body English, because we'd always have the industry night on Sundays, and like that's where I met you, and mad people would show up like Steve Aoki, all these people would just come through and cool out on like Sunday, whoever would be in the scene. And I remember that I don't remember what color your hair was, but I remember it was like maybe it was short and it was pink or something like that,
That time in Vegas was so different. Like all the DJs would get together, and like 20 DJs would mob into a club like where Presto was playing and just hang out behind the DJ and take shots, and it was such a nice time. And then we'd go to like maybe 3 other clubs just as a crew. Yeah. It's not like that anymore, unfortunately. But that was before, when I graduated college, Facebook had just started. In fact, you had to have a college email address to sign up for it. So yeah, things were a lot different then. You actually had to go out and hang out with people face to face. Like I would have a purse full of mix CDs, like actual, mix CDs that I would just like give out all night to everyone, to even like the bathroom attendant, the security guards, the VIP host. Like I was just, different time.
It definitely was a different time, because even like with you talking about how like bringing the Crater pop records or more top 40 records over, and it was like how E-Fade and them guys were it was so rough, rugged, and raw and like hardcore hip hop. But then it was like during that time, because you were starting to get traction. I remember like when you were getting sponsored by Mixwell in the ad, and it's like I got the postcard and you were like on the postcard. I was like, dang, Tina's on here looking all fly, and like we were like, man, she's really doing it. Like it kind of blew our mind, because just scratching, like it was so underground, but for you to actually like break through on that was such a big deal for us, I think. So like, yeah, as far as sponsors, because you've done a lot, like gotten sponsored and done ads and all kinds of crazy stuff. How did you kind of get into that?
I think the big move was going to LA. So when I graduated college, I remember actually it was Cypress Hill's DJ Muggs. So in college I used to book all the entertainment, and so that was cool because I got to meet a bunch of different artists. Like I booked Chuck D to speak during Black History Month, and so I booked Cypress Hill, and of course I'm excited to hang out with Muggs. And I was just getting ready to graduate, and he told me, you gotta go be like the little fish in a big pond. Because at college, I was kind of the big fish in a little pond by the end. And he's like, and you also, you gotta like distinguish yourself. Like, no one's gonna remember the DJ with a ponytail. Funny that I just have a ponytail. But his point was that, stand out, right? He's like, you gotta be like the Gwen Stefani of DJing. And he had just like a lot of advice for like, basically go to LA, take the risk, and try to like set yourself apart. And so he was a really big motivator in that decision to graduate and pack up my Subaru and go stay on my friend's couch in LA. And I was literally like looking at that time on Craigslist and bringing all my turntables and stuff to like an open mic kind of thing. And I just needed to get in front of people and DJ and try and meet people. But yeah, I was doing all the things in LA. And luckily I got hired by BPM magazine. That was kind of my big break as far as not necessarily DJing, but like meeting the right people. They hired me to be a marketing assistant. And then that's when I got to meet DJ AM and Steve Aoki. And I was setting up equipment and sound checking for shows and working the guest list at parties. So people were just like giving me their cards left and right. It was like the perfect positioning. So yeah, that kind of led to other opportunities.
Well, because also too, just to reiterate, ever since I remember, Tina's been a bona fide, like straight up hustler, just always out there making stuff happen. Like, I've never seen anybody at that early age catch on. Like, I think it took a lot of us, if we didn't even catch on at all to the whole scheme of things, but it took us a lot longer to kind of catch that curve that you were like naturally already ahead of the curve in that mind state. You know what I'm saying? So salute for that. Salute to Muggs, also one of the GOATs for sure, for inspiring lots of us out there in the world. Now, from that, I mean, that opened up a whole bunch of doors, like with huge Vegas residencies, like being able to go out and like tour per se with DJing. How did you get more into like getting booked outside of Vegas and traveling with DJing?
So I started doing some corporate stuff in LA, just through gigging and meeting people and networking. And what I learned with networking is just like that a lot of people, they move around, right? So building those strong relationships, that person their next job might be president of marketing at, wherever. And so keeping in touch with everyone. Back then I had a newsletter I was doing, and it like, by the time I ended it, it probably had like 10,000 people on it. Like every single person I met would like keep their email. And then once a month I'd like blast them with like, here's my gig, like here's what's going on. And that was super helpful. But yeah, I just like kept meeting people, and everyone I met, I tried to not just think about like LA is very much so like, well, what can you do for me kind of thing. And I was always in the mindset of like, what can I bring to the table for this person? Like, nice. How can I, and I still do it now in Vegas, like every meeting I go, just like, what can I bring to the table? How can I make myself valuable to this person? So that's kind of the way I look at networking in general, and I think that helped a lot.
Obviously it seemed to work, so yeah, for sure. Now I remember talking to my cousin Nate, but he was saying you were out in Phoenix and it kind of met up with him just to chat it up. And then he was saying like you were talking about like just the rigors of tour life or just being on the road all the time. And you were like, you told him, like, you pointed at your suitcase and you were like, that's my house. What was that whole experience like, just being on the road all the time, not being home and stuff like that? Probably for the younger DJs too.
So there's actually one like unfulfilled goal. Like I never got to tour with a recording artist. So I got to stay on the road. I was doing like the club circuit, and that kept me super busy. I was constantly traveling, but I never actually got to do like a organized tour, where I stay like on a tour bus or anything. And I always wanted to, but now that I'm a little older, I don't know, because I know how grueling that is. But when I was constantly on the road, I mean, I loved it, honestly, but I also had, there would be times I'd be so sleep deprived, like my eyelids would be like green. I'm looking in the mirror like, is this normal? Or, I didn't buy groceries or do any domesticated things for years. Like, honestly, all the way until COVID. COVID was the first time in probably like 8 years that I actually stayed home and went grocery shopping and started living a normal life. And it was a trip. So yeah, that was, you just get used to living out of a suitcase, but it's fun. I guess it affects, personal relationships too, because you're just always one city. So yeah, it has its pluses and negatives, but I'm glad I did it at the age that I did, because I don't think now I could have the energy for it.
Yeah, because it seems like it would be rough to have like any kind of like social life, like just stable social life when you're just always going places and stuff.
Yeah, pretty much impossible. I mean, like, you meet the people where you, like, I had tons of DJ friends in different cities, which was cool, because you could, like, we'd go out, but it was a lot of drinking, a lot of partying. I remember, like, at that time, there were some DJs starting to quit drinking for, like, a year at a time, because when you're doing nightclubs like 4 or 5 nights a week, it really starts to add up. But then I always felt this pressure going into a club, because the owner or the person that brought you in, it's kind of like a respect thing, right? Like, they booked you, they paid all this money to have you. Now when they come into the DJ booth with shots, you're going to be like, no, And like, I get it now, like, we don't need to succumb to that pressure, but it was just a lot of, like, broing down. Like people book the DJs they enjoy hanging out with. At least that's the way it was then. So the DJ that just goes straight from their hotel room, shows up 5 minutes before they're supposed to start, does their set and leaves, versus the DJ that goes to dinner with the owner, hangs out and invites friends out, gets bottles, hangs out after the club. Like, that's 2 different experiences of booking a DJ. And I enjoyed the social aspect, so I was always on that side. But it definitely, then you start to get the reputation, though. Like, well, last time you came and we stayed out and we went to all these clubs after and we did all this. So to come back and be like, oh, yeah, I don't drink or I quit or whatever. But I learned it's all in how you say it. So if someone asks, like, are you drinking tonight? Instead of saying no, you just have to say, I've been sober for 3 months. Because, like, when you say it like that, it's a little harder to argue with you or pressure you, like, oh, come on, just one. No, I've been but if you're like, oh, I'm not drinking tonight, then there's, like, flexibility in that, like, oh, come on, just one. So, yeah.
That is solid.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that.
I like that broing down. That's
Broing down is huge. Like,
I'm gonna use that.
It's great, right? I still, like, it's my favorite thing to do, though.
Is to bro down?
Yeah. Just getting a bunch of DJs together, and not even just DJs, with everything I'm doing, like getting everyone together and just like broing down it's fun.
No, that's real. Just hang out. Have fun.
And technically, we're broing down right now.
Gotta
Digitally.
drink them shots of water.
Yeah,
Keep it in.
digital bro down. Hey,
That's kind of crazy too, because for me, like, being a type 1 diabetic, I never drank or did anything because it was just too much extra with what I already had going on. So I always kind of felt like that disconnect, like kind of like a weirdo, because like, oh, he doesn't drink, he doesn't do this and that. Like, I'm sure like the homies, like girlfriends, were happy that I was there to drive them home at the end of the night, but it was always a little bit different for me.
But now everything's different because people aren't drinking. Like, it's more the norm now. And
Yeah.
so I think that's great.
It is kind of a whole shift for sure. So kind of shifting gears a little bit, scratching. Are there any scratches that you've been working on, or stuff that you've been messing around with creatively?
The main time I scratch is with Presto, actually, on his Octagon over there. And I feel like it's always just trying to clean. I haven't actually added any new scratches. The last like advanced scratch is probably like 1-click flares. I'm always just trying to get clean and do them to different tempos. I have a really hard time scratching to slow beats. My like ideal tempo is like the 110, 120, and then if I want to get an arm workout, I'll do like stabs to 130. But
Wow.
yeah.
So has anybody in the chat actually been over to Presto's scratch layer?
Not me. I've been wanting to. I just haven't had a chance to go.
not
man.
yet, not
I'd
yet.
love
not
to
yet.
go, man.
Well, yeah, doors open, guys. Just
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Flex them. Flex it.
Flex
We got-
on them.
We got to plan a Skratcher fam trip.
Yo, I entered the IDA. Sorry, I didn't mean to steer away, but I entered the IDA, whatever, party rocking battle, and then I did the US segment, and I did it on a Rev 7, right? And I was up here to the corner, but behind me was the octagon, which is hilarious because I'm entering a DJ competition, but my octagon's behind me, and I'm over here battling on a Rev 7.
Let them know.
Which is like a weird flex, you know what I mean? But like, well, nah, I was just mixing, you know, because it was a party rock battle. I was like, all right, cool.
That's, yo, Zimmy, when you see this, send him some new Pioneer products.
Hey, what's up, Zimmy?
Yeah, so yeah, man, like I heard that like you and Ray were in a battle together a long time ago.
Oh God.
You remember that, Presto? So, like, when I first met you, like, in person, I think it was Table Manners 2006.
San
Do you
Diego.
remember it was
Kid
you and
Dragon.
Earwax? Yep,
Yes.
you and Earwax.
Yeah.
That was when they did the 2-on-2. You
it
and
was
him
you
were
and
partnered
Woods.
together. It was me and, I was with Tofu. This guy, Tofu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh
So
gosh, dude. Okay, tell me what year that was, dude.
That, 06, bro. 2006.
That's
All right,
20
so
years ago.
That was when Serato didn't even like branch out all the way, and I remember me and Wax were breaking out our Serato boxes, and then we hit like some college radio station out there, and then we did that Table
was
Manners
Earthbound.
battle.
That was Earthbound.
Yes, yeah, we did
Yeah.
Earthbound Radio. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we were just bugging out and then like, hitting cue points, and nobody at the time everybody was still on absolute mode.
Oh, yeah,
You know
that's
what I mean?
right.
Everybody was still on absolute mode, and we were like putting it on. I can't even think right now.
Is it relative?
What's relative? Sorry.
Relative.
A relative
I
mode,
just-
yeah.
I don't even call it. It's there. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah. So yeah, that's right. Earthbound Radio. Yeah, we were in the same battle. Yeah, and yeah, that was a bugged out battle.
Yeah, Rafiq was performing that thing, and that was just a fun event, man. I met so many people that night.
And Tech Treat.
Oh,
Tech
yeah.
Threat was there, and he brought Rafiq.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
remember I used to make fun of Martin all the time because we used to call him Tech Treat.
Is that why you call him that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember he was doing that battle. He was like cutting both sides, right? He was really
Yeah.
flexing on that.
Oh, I have a funny story about Martin.
Yeah.
If he's still watching, like what bouncing off what Tina said, like mad people come to Vegas and stuff like that, and if you live in Vegas, you're pretty much like a designated tour guide. Everybody hits you up.
Yeah.
Yo, what's up? I'm in town. Let's party. And I'm like, dude, I don't get down like that. Whatever. Yo, come on, man. Come on. I'm in town for like a day. And I'm like, all right, yeah, whatever. So anyways, Tech Threat came out. Like he chilled for a little bit, and then like the night that he had to leave, he had to take like an early flight. I'm like, all right, cool. You know what? Here, let's take you out. So I went out to some of my residencies, and if you live in Vegas, you really don't have to pay for your drinks and stuff like that. So I got him lit. Right before he had to get on the plane. So imagine that.
I like where this is going. I like where this is going.
So,
Yeah, did they let him on the
man,
plane?
come on, man, your last night in Vegas, dude. Let's go out. So I got him fade. I got him drunk. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right, man. Dropped him off at the airport. Later.
Gosh.
Kind of like the Fresh Prince intros. Peace.
Ah, is that-
and then he texts me like once he landed. He's like, yo, man, like I think he was mad or something like that. He's like, yo, I couldn't hold my lunch on, while I was up in the air.
Hopefully you didn't fill up that bag.
Obviously, when you're mad fade, you got alcohol in your system, and then you're like, the altitude's higher and higher.
Yep. Mhm.
I can only imagine how that hits. You know what I mean?
I can only imagine the smell in the plane. Golly.
I think he tried really hard to hold it, but I think once he landed, he just ralphed. So
Yikes.
whatever.
They let
Anyways,
him on the,
yeah.
They let him on the plane though, so that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Take it.
This was he was coming from Vegas. They were like, oh yeah, whatever. Must be expected.
Dope. Presto, I kind of want to take it back with you, man. Like,
Bust it.
How'd you get into DJing and scratching, or which one came first, man?
Both, because I started in 1994. So it's been 32 years now. And actually I've wanted to be a DJ since '89, because I would always see it on like music videos. I'm like, yo, that's dope. You know, I wanted to get into everything, like rapping and, you know, all that stuff. And then it started with b-boying. And then, like, in the early 90s, there was, like, a movement of people, of things called party crews. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that,
yeah.
you know? So, you know, there were, like, underground raves that were going on, this, and this. And then, like, you know, me and my friends, we wanted to be a part of that, you know? And we found out, like, well, yo, we got to put together a party crew. You know, I'll be the promoter and, you know, this, and this. Presto, you be the DJ. You're the guy that knows all the music. I was like, all right. Because I was always the one with the CDs and cassettes, you know, and all this. So by default, I was the music guy. And then, you know, I had a record player here at the crib. Messed up my mom's old records, you know, because it was one of those stacks where I'm like, you know, with the volume, it had like a knob, and I was like, you know, just messing around. I'm like, I don't care what record this is. And I figured out a scratch just by movement. Anyways, fast forward, 1994, it was official because a hip-hop store just opened in Vegas, and it was called The Joint, by this guy named Elof. Elof, rest in peace. He was like my OG, and nobody ever really taught me how to DJ. Like, I never had like one teacher. Elof was kind enough to let me like hang out at the store and just be around it, you know. And I would literally save up my lunch money and buy records from him. So I wouldn't eat lunch. I would save up my lunch money and buy 12 inches when 12 inches were like $5. And yeah, I would hang out at the store, and then my bag would get heavier and heavier because I would always get like mad records and stuff like that. And I would just go there and try out matching these beats, you know. And I didn't have one teacher. I always had like DJs come in and they'd see me practice, be like, hey man, try this. Hey man, try this. Yo, try this. Yo, check this out. You do it like this. So I had like, you know, like the old dirty bastard, there's no father to my style, you know? So I learned something from like house DJs, from hip hop DJs. I learned, there was this guy named Alex One. He was from New York, and he had like a very particular way of matching beats. I remember he would just flick the pitch all the way up and all the way down. Like, that's how he matched beats. Like, and it worked.
Wow.
Like, that's how he would pitch bend, like literally moving the pitch like mad fast up and down. And I'm like, you know, and I didn't get it till like later, and I'm like, okay, I get it, you know. But and then, you know, Elof and a bunch of people would show me scratches here and there, and the store, it was a hip hop store, so he'd had DMC videos playing, and then he had this like case full of mixtapes, and he'd let me get a copy of the mixtapes and stuff because I was a broke little kid. And so I was basically immersed in everything, between watching battle videos, watching music videos with DJs in it, and then also you know, listening to mixtapes and understanding how songs are supposed to sound mixed, you know, and in composition. So I actually got into like multi-track recording within like my first year of DJing and stuff like that, you know, just based on like listening to these mixtapes. And I was listening to everything from like Babu, Rob One, so Baby G, a lot of old school DJs, and just really understanding that. And then after that, I just said, okay, well, that inspired me. I want to make mixtapes. So I was making mixtapes in high school, you know. And I used to hustle back in high school too, because I'm like, okay, these records, lunch money can only go so far. So I would record a mixtape, and I remember my hustle was like, I would tell the loudest kid, and this is pre-social media, so everybody had that loud kid in school. Everybody knew a loud kid in school, really loud, like someone who just talked to everybody. So I was always like, on Monday, I'd get off the school bus, and I'd hit up that loud kid. I'm like, yo, what's up? I'm dropping a mixtape on Friday. Tell everybody, and I'll give you a free one. Nice. And then by the time I got off the school bus on Friday, everybody's hitting me up. Yo, what's up? So-and-so told me you're dropping a mixtape. I'm like, word? So by third period, I sold all my mixtapes and stuff. And I made like $300.
Yo, what?
You know? Yeah, slanging my mixtapes. You know what I mean? And I wasn't really into fashion or nothing like that. I just bought more records, or I bought like an effects rack for my multi-track, because I had a cassette multi-track and stuff. Or I buy more 12 inches. You know what I mean? But yeah, that was me hustling back in high school. And then that was a mixtape game back then, and my mixtapes proceeded. And I always had a thing. I'm like, I only released my mixtape in one day. I wouldn't sell it afterwards, because everybody would just dub the mix. People would just bootleg your mix anyways. And I'm like, all right, here, I'm making my money now. I'm gonna slang it now and make my money now. People are gonna dub it and record it and give it to their friends, because nobody wants to spend no money. Here you go. But that helped me out, because people would bootleg my mixtape all over Las Vegas, and then next thing you know, my name got around.
Yo, that's dope. Would you say that's how that you got that getting into the Vegas DJ scene?
Yeah, I mean, the Vegas DJ scene has gone through so many different levels, because in my day, nobody really, anyone out of town didn't care about Vegas. Vegas was not the spot. Vegas was just a barren, dry desert. You know what I mean? Everybody would always be like, yo, what's going on in California? Right next door, And maybe we might have some people come in from Utah right next door, or whatever it is. But, like, Vegas didn't really blow up till, like, after 9/11. But, like, back then, we just had our small b-boy scene. We had a small nightclub scene, but it was all just like that, post-disco era nightclubs and stuff like that, And there were a few guys, but it wasn't like the destination spot that it is, that it turned into.
Yeah. That's crazy, man. Because I remember going to Vegas, hitting you up, and then I forgot what club it was. It was back in like 2011, 2012. Came through, man. You were just DJing and killing it, man. That was dope. Thank you for that. But outside of that, like, dude, you're pretty innovative, man. I remember going to NAMM and you were showing me the Skratch. It was also on Q-Bert's, was it the Scratchlopedia? You did the knuckle sandwich, right? That thing? And then there was another one where you were drawing like a number 8.
Okay, the figure 8. Well, I didn't make that up, but like some guy from Japan made the figure 8 up. And it's honestly all it is just a very fancy way to look at a crescent tear.
Oh, huh.
So if you do, but I did make up the fish.
Oh yeah.
The fish scratch, and then the knuckle sandwich.
How'd they come about anyway, man?
I had a student that I was teaching once, and he just couldn't understand, like, whatever I was trying to teach him didn't translate, and he just kept wiggling his fingers involuntarily. And I'm like, okay, let me show you the way you understand. And I came up with that scratch by trying to speak his language and stuff like that. So like the fish scratch is actually a very, very, very loose tear, just almost like a very involuntary. But then if you do it loosely with this hand, then you figure you do like a 2-click or 1-click with this hand, and then it filters together. Then it sounds all bugged out.
I know exactly what you mean, yeah. Because I look at scratches where it's like, whatever you do with your record hand, and you do it pretend as if like that's the only motion that exists. Like say if you're doing a regular baby, but do it in that motion, and then still treat it like it's regular. And then just things come out from that. It just opens doors, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say one of the early iterations is when you're doing like a helicopter, and then you're transforming, pat, 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 pat.
That's right.
Because this is just a steady motion. It's drilling. It's not doing anything except for drilling, but you got to hold that. And then if you're doing like transform patterns, then there you go. You got Morse code and stuff like that. But so I look at scratching the same way, and I'm like, if I could do this or whatever it is, what if I, did a 2-finger, 3-finger crab or an orbit, or just interchange?
Yeah.
And then when you gate it in between, especially in between the movements, like for instance, I crab my knuckle sandwich. So now it's a very, if I hit the notes just right, I got that many notes.
Wow. Gosh, you're out here, man.
Dope.
So sick, man.
Hey, Presto.
Sorry.
Presto, I may or may not have, you're being mad humble. I may or may not have a video of you at the Skratch break joint this past NAMM doing that fish tear that you do. And I'm not gonna super name drop here, but there's a lot of killers in that room that were watching that Skratch. I'll send you the video, man.
Okay.
I got you.
Word?
Hey, Press,
Okay.
I want to bring it back.
Yeah,
Because
bust
I
it.
remember about Jimi Hendrix. That was your crew, your DJ
Oh,
crew,
yeah.
right? That had
Yeah.
Deuce Ace, right? And
Yes.
no, Earwax was in that. Was it Havoc in that too?
Yeah.
And Data.
Yes.
Yeah. How'd you guys come about?
Jimi Hendrix. Well, it was in the height of like Ned Hoddings, and like, Ned Hoddings and gosh, what was another crew?
Gunkhole.
Gunk Hole, right? Like, so when Dave had all that stuff going on and whatnot, like, Jimi Hendrix was actually my name.
Nuh-uh, your initial.
So it was my alias,
Oh.
Presto One, aka Jimi Hendrix, and I've always had that. I've had like I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna come up with like all these names, you know what I mean? And I'm like, all right, my name is Presto One. In high school, I was Presto One, the Fader Bader.
Wait, what? Bader, bro.
Yeah. And I would write that on my mixtape. I'd be like,
It's okay.
Presto
It's
One.
okay. We got homies in Seattle, man. They're worse, bro.
Oh yeah, way worse.
I gotta say that my old crew, we were called the Vibe Raiders.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Vibrators. Well, this was before Battlestar, right?
before that, well, they were around, but like this was like in like my high school homies and stuff.
Oh,
What-
okay.
Yeah.
Ray, was it Raiders, R-A-Y-ders, or was it just
No,
Raiders?
it's still not R-A-I.
Okay.
R-A-I. Yeah.
I'm gonna be Raiders. I was like, all
Yeah.
right.
I have a video asking Mike Boo to do a shout out, and he was like, "That's kind of weird." I was like, "I know, but it's." But it was cool though, man. I didn't even think about it at the time because I was like, "Vibe." I thought, yeah, we're vibing it, and we're raiding, you know, like Raiders or whatever. But I didn't realize. I didn't put two and two back then. At that time, I didn't realize it meant something else. But
Totally innocent.
yeah,
But yeah, Jimi Hendrix started off as my name, and then actually Charlie Darker was my nephew. You know, he lived in San Leandro, and we reconnected, and I found out that he DJ'd. I'm like, yo, because I've always wanted to have a DJ crew. Like, coming out of Vegas, I was just such a big fan of the Pickles, you know, Fifth Platoon, X-Men, and Beat Junkies, and I'm like, I want a crew. I wanted to be part of a crew and stuff like that, you know. And I reached out to my nephew. I said, look, man, you got any DJ buzz? Let's just put something together, you know. And it started off like this was headquarters because it came from here, and I really didn't have anybody here. So I would talk to Charlie Darker, and he was good friends with Data, and he was good friends with Deuce Ace, and what is that? Deuce Ace was good friends with Havoc, who lived in San Jose at the time. And then we got this guy named Phil, Funkmaster Phil. So started just getting just a collective of homies. You know, it didn't have to be like a super crew of people. We were more leaning towards like the Beat Junkies type of style. Like some of us scratched, some of us mixed, some of us did production. You know, just an overall like umbrella crew. And then Deuce moved to Southern California, and then he was boys with Earwax, and that's how he got Earwax in. And then out here, I got this guy named Chuck Fader down with us. And then later on, some of the fellas moved to Vegas. And then we just kind of went full speed ahead. And then we were in, Data moved to San Diego. And then we got, his brother Qua has started Fresh Yard.
yes, right.
And then, Handtricks was like the house band, the house crew for Fresh Yard and stuff like that, you know. So we were doing the mixtapes, we were scratching on like their songs, and and then later on it just kind of everybody just grew apart, you know. Oh yeah, and what I forgot about Silent John, of course. Peace, Silent John.
Oh yeah, Silent John. Yeah.
Yeah, Silent John. It was so weird when I met him because I brought Silent John in. This is how. All right, brought Silent John in. Silent John's from San Jose, and he's the one that brought Havoc, and he's the one that brought Phil. And I always knew who Havoc was. I was just like, oh snap, we got Havoc from the Beat Junkies in Handtricks too. And at the time he was Zulu and all that stuff. And what is that? Yeah, I met Silent John because Silent John was DJing for KRS-One.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, see, Silent John used to DJ for KRS-One, and I went to a KRS-One show, And I'm always just be like, all right, who's the DJ? Who's the DJ? Let me meet whoever's, I didn't know him. I'm like, what's up, man? Presto, welcome to Vegas. Boom, boom, boom. And then, it was just connections through that, and then just took a little bit to build.
Like speaking of crews, like you're part of the Rocksteady crew, weren't you?
Yes.
Like that's such a staple to the hip hop like scene and everything too. Like how else did you get into the Rocksteady?
Oh man. Let's see. I got in Rocksteady around 2002. So it's been a long time now. Obviously, as a hip hop fan, that's like royalty. That's like royal blood for hip hop roots right there. And I was at the time, I was young b-boy, just I was in the b-boy scene. I would always be the one mixing for all the b-boys and stuff like that. And everybody just wanted to be part of Rocksteady. And anyways, my boy Floor Rock got into Rocksteady because he was the first one out of Vegas to really make a lot of power moves with the b-boy scene. We made noise at B-Boy Summit back in 1996. And we just started drawing more attention to Vegas. And he got into Rocksteady because I think Legs was just really bugging him at the time. Like, yo man, what's up, man? Get down with the crew. And Floor Rock was like, no, I'm good. And anyways, eventually he buckled. And then he got in Rocksteady. And then Rocksteady crew actually moved to Las Vegas because there was a show at New York Casino where they wanted to do like a hip hop show. So a few members from Rocksteady moved to Vegas because at the time they had this show called Jam on the Groove, which was like a hip hop performance like dance show, and they brought it to Vegas. It was called Mad Hatton. And so we, Mr. Wiggles moved down here, and Mr. Freeze, actually, big shout out to my big brother, Mr. Freeze. He's been out in Vegas for a long time, so we always knew Freeze. He was just like the guy around, the OG from the Bronx that moved down here, and but anyways, how I got into Rocksteady was Wiggles and Freeze and everybody was just like, yo, we're gonna start a chapter in Las Vegas, this and this. And so me and Floor Rock were the ones heading Rocksteady here in Las Vegas, and I got a chance to really put my stamp on it. I wanted to show Legs and everybody else in the crew that I'm not gonna just take up space. I'll make moves. And I was with this. It felt like I was knighted, like thou art Rocksteady. You know what I mean? I was ready to kneel.
It is though.
And what is that? I was able to follow the footsteps of the guys I looked up to, which was the Rocksteady DJs, which was Qbert, Mixmaster Mike, and Apollo. And then later on I found out that like Rhythmatic was in Rocksteady, and forgot who else. A bunch of guys, and Tony Touch was heading the DJ division at the time. But yeah, and actually here, let me show you guys. All right, so if you know about Rocksteady DJs, then maybe you might appreciate this, and whoever's watching. This is rare piece right here.
Oh, whoa.
Yo. Sheesh.
Right? This is from my big brother Q Unique. He was there at that battle. So if you ever watch DMC, was it USA and World 1993? This was the shirt they were wearing, right?
Correct.
And I have this frame, right? And I actually have the actual like Kodak pictures taken. If you guys can see it.
Fresh.
From that battle.
Wow, that's
Oh,
cute.
yeah, remember
Mike and Apollo.
Yeah, that's when
Right?
Qbert and
Crazy.
Mike went. He had the Rocksteady train emblem on, the necklace on.
Yes.
Yeah.
And they had the cans. So this
Yep.
is the actual T-shirt.
Yo, that's
Wow.
dope. That's dope. That's when it was Pudgy Qbert.
Yo, if you listen to some of those scratches now, you'll bug out.
That's true.
That's an interesting thing. I always say that we're still decoding stuff that they did from 20 years ago, like some of those patterns and things like that. I think one of the most interesting things to me about the Rocksteady crew is their unity and community aspect. Closely aligned with Zulu and all of that stuff as well. Did you find that like when you got into Rocksteady and you were hanging out with all your your idols and things like that, was there kind of like a quid pro quo with the community aspect? Like, were they active in all of the communities where they had chapters, or like, and where I'm headed with this is like how Tina's doing the camp and stuff like that. Were they doing anything like that at the time?
Well, you know what? Funny you mentioned that. When I got into Rocksteady, Legs used to throw this jam in New York called Yes We Can, which was a canned food drive for, the people in New York, in the name of Rocksteady. So the year I got into Rocksteady, I wanted to make moves like that too. So I reached out to the city and, I asked Legs, I said, dude, can we do Yes We Can in Las Vegas? He's like, yeah, sure, why not? So I contacted my friends from the Boys and Girls Club, from Shade Tree, from, and then Red Bull was always supporting, like I had a close relationship with Red Bull at the time, where I would throw b-boy battles and they would sponsor with like, their drinks and money and whatnot, and I threw a whole event where we got this place called the Neonopolis, which was basically a mall, and we got it all hollowed out. And I threw an art show. I got all the local graph writers be like, yo, what's up? I need pieces. Boom. Got art and major b-boy battle right there in the center. And at the time I started my DJ school like a few years prior to that. So I even had a performance by my students. Which was dope, and they were all in the turntablism, so we actually did a turntable band on stage.
Oh, sick.
You know what I mean? And
amazing.
This was in 2004, I want to say, and from that, the city actually gave us a holiday. So got a key to the city, and then got a official holiday in Las Vegas for Rocksteady crew. In the name of hip hop.
Yo, congratulations.
That's
amazing.
Gang bang.
And to 360 this on that unity and community, Tina, I'd like to pivot and talk a little bit about your camp spinoff. Let's talk a little bit about that. Like, how did that get started? Give us some background on that.
It started in 2009 was when I started working on it. It was actually, I had just moved to LA and I met DJ Revolution was talking about radio DJs and their workaround of payola. And how he's like, yeah, the labels all send us to cool places like Jamaica, and we're riding around on mopeds and have all and they just spoil them. And I was like, I don't know why, for some reason in my mind that translated to, that'd be so cool if you guys all went to like a summer camp, because I'm thinking back to like, wow, I love getting all the DJs together to just hang out. I'm like, that'd be cool if it was like a summer camp. And then that turned into, well, if it was a summer camp, then everyone would just be drinking and partying the whole time. And I'm like, well, then what if it was a kids camp? But then all my DJ friends were like the camp counselors and the instructors, And that's kind of how the thought process started. And honestly, as soon as I thought of it, the light bulb went off. I went on and started thinking of names. Like I was just like fully gung ho, like this is it. I'm gonna do it. First year, no one signed up. And that's when I decided like that this is, luckily I was working with sponsors like Red Bull, at that time I had Skull Candy and Red Bull and a bunch of people that were sponsoring it. So I took all the sponsorship money, went to all the community centers, Boys and Girls Clubs, and just every single kid at camp was there on a scholarship. So then it converted into a nonprofit and just went that direction as far as, trying to because especially then I saw like, wow, this is super impactful. And thinking back, because I started DJing around that same age as these campers that are coming, I know how much it can change the whole trajectory of their lives. So I feel like getting kids into something at that, 13, you're around that age is so crucial to really like make an impact. So yeah, that's how it all started.
Word. So what was the official first year that you kicked it off? Was it 09 or 20?
So the first year it happened was summer 2010. And we had, the instructors was Seraphin. I got Skratch DJ Academy involved. Back then there was like Tractor, which I don't think Tractor's around anymore. But
They
DJ
should-
Hero was a sponsor one year, which is also no longer around. But DJ Evil One, there was a lot. I don't want to start listing because then I'll for sure forget someone. But basically, I was able to get, probably a good staff of like 20 DJs, like DJs that were out really like doing it. And then we had guests that came in at that time. Early on, I think we had Samantha Ronson that came to speak. Mixmaster Mike came and spoke, and he DJ'd at the pool party. And I remember with him, it was so funny because he started really going into like scratching, and all the kids were like surrounding the DJ setup, and he would stop and he was just like kind of teasing with them. He would like cut the music, and then he'd like get in their face, like super intense. And the kids' minds were just blown. They had never, I don't know if they really knew who Mixmat, and they just never seen anything like that before. So that's when every year it just became a mission of like, all right, this year, how can we blow these kids' minds? Like, who can we get to come demo? Who can we get to come speak? What can we show them and teach them that's just like out of their world?
That's amazing. And then, so you mentioned earlier it's geared towards 13-ish-year-olds and above, or is it just kind of like for all ages?
No, it's 12 to 17. And it's boys and girls. I used to, go out of my way to actually recruit girls because, early on when I first started DJing, like it's gotten more balanced, but the ratio was a lot more male dominated. So we would do a lot of outreach to girls programs specifically to even out that ratio at camp. And now we don't even have to it's great. Like we got tons of girls interested and we don't even worry about it anymore.
Yeah, my daughter is 11 and she's already talking about it. I've shown her a lot of your stuff and just some other as well. And I always do this thing with my daughter where I show her women in prominent positions, CEOs that own companies, and do this and do this and do this. So that was a great subject of conversation in the world of DJing was Camp spinoff. So she's got a couple years, but she'll be there.
Nice. Yeah, so in 2020, COVID came and then kind of just shut everything down along with the rest of the world. So this year is the first year relaunching since 2020, and we have a new location near Las Vegas. It's about an hour and a half away from Las Vegas. We were always doing it in Ojai, California, which was an hour and a half from Los Angeles, and we had a great camp there. But this year we have support of like Clark County commissioners that really see the value in having this camp in Las Vegas, which I do too, because if you think about it, it makes total sense. Like so many, it's like the entertainment capital of the world, and it makes sense to have a DJ camp in Vegas.
Hey, Tina, can you go ahead and plug where it's at and the dates? Do you have those set already?
Yeah, so it's July 19th through the 23rd, and registration is open. It's campspinoff.com, and yeah.
And then just to kind of break down, just go a little further in, what aspects of DJing, kind of music production are the campers getting to experience? Like a little bit of the flow.
Yeah, sorry, I'm being so bad.
You're good.
So at camp, they'd learn not just DJing, but they're learning music production and music business, which is crucial. They get like the full like, everything encompassing we get a lot of campers that might not go on to be DJs, but they are music managers or production and work on events. And so actually Presto this year is going to be our instructor for one of the DJ classes, and we're excited about that.
Who, me?
That was actually my next question was how did Presto get involved? So you're ahead of the curve there, Tina. Good job.
Well, he's a little mad at me because I had never asked him to DJ before. The camp had run for like 10 years and I had always known Presto and hadn't asked him. But my excuse, it's not an excuse, is, we were working with Skratch DJ Academy. So yeah, it was nothing against Presto. I think Presto's an amazing instructor, and I think it makes sense more now than ever. He has a school he does in Vegas, and some of our past campers, when COVID hit, I was referring them all to Presto to do DJ classes online. So it's he's a perfect fit. Seraphin will be there, and we also have DJ Hoppa, and Seraphin and Hoppa have been instructors since the beginning. But yeah, there's 3 different classes at camp. There's kind of like a DJing 101, and then a mixing, and then production. And so they get split into 3 groups, and they rotate around through the groups. And they also will work in their cabins with their camp counselor to record tracks, recording sounds around camp, like crickets and nature, and turn it into their own cabin track that they then like play for everyone at the end of the week.
That's dope.
That's dope.
No,
Yeah.
No. Actually, are there sponsorships like financial aid available for students that need that to be able to attend?
Yes, so scholarships are available. You can apply for scholarships on the website. We do a lot of fundraising throughout the year, and all that goes towards those scholarships. We also have a program called the Play It Forward Club, which is specifically for DJs who want to support Camp Spinoff. And you can donate $100 and then upload your logo. And we have a special page on the website that's all the DJs that are part of this club. We have, we just had a mastermind in Vegas of DJs that showed up to talk about the industry and support Camp Spinoff. And everyone there joined the club, and we just got it kicked off and rolling. So any DJs out there that want to support scholarships can go join the Play It Forward Club, and we'll add your logo to the site.
You got me on that. I'll be on that immediately. You're good.
I'll be on it too.
Yeah, we'll be
I
on
appreciate it.
for sure.
So, is there stuff outside of DJ, just kid camp stuff that happens there also?
Yes, so that's the whole concept is that, it's a traditional summer camp, because people have said, oh, let's do Camp Spinoff in the gymnasium as an after-school program. And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. It's really, my big thing is that it has to be a traditional summer camp, because I went to those kinds of camps growing up, and they had a huge impact, right? Like campfires, s'mores, hiking, dodgeball, color war, all the things. And it's important for them to get away from home, right? It's for a lot of kids, it's their first time leaving home to go to a sleepaway camp, and you're staying in a cabin, you're away from school, so all the cliques and things at school don't, you have your new camp family, and you can kind of express yourself differently and be who you want to be. And now you're around all people that are into the same thing as you, into music and DJing. So you have your cabin, your camp counselor is, an established DJ that's now your mentor, your instructors. And so that whole experience is what makes Camp Spinoff different from going to a school or an online course. And I think now more than ever after COVID, I see the value in kids needing to have this networking, this foundation of people face to face with experiences, unique experiences that they can look back at later. And it's cool seeing a lot of the campers that went to camp early on, they're adults now. They're 25, 26 years old, and they still keep in touch with each other, and they're going to shows together, and they're working on things, and that's just so great to see. So I think after COVID, we lost a lot of that face-to-face human interaction and experience, and it's not just for the kids, honestly, the staff too. We have a ton of that's kind of it reminds us of why we started DJing, you know what I mean, to go and be around these kids and watch them when they're first starting. So it's just fulfilling for everyone there.
That's dope. Hey Presto, since you're gonna be a guest instructor there, now that you do all this other stuff from DJing, do your campfire stuff, whatever, you gonna show them your workout of the days or what?
You know what? I if the subject arises, then I'll be my workout of the day over at Camp Spinoff. Yeah, if they got a gym set up and whatnot. But but if I'll show them the drag curl setup that we were talking about before. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope we touch on the subject of health for DJs. I hope we do, and that's something I know that at least hopefully I can help chime in on and stuff like that. Because there's just a lot of if you do succeed as a DJ and have that, you'll find that you'll have you how am I supposed to say this? You'll have time that you can allocate towards fitness and health and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Because it's tough if you're still working your normal gig, and then you're DJing on the weekends. You got to take time to prepare your crates, whatever it is, right? Or even practice. You got to get your practice time. And I think that DJs should definitely put more focus into like their health and wellness. I mean, we do scratching for our mental health. You know what I mean? Because it's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna zone out. I'm feeding to learn this cut. Boom, 3-click boomerangs. Get at it. Ray, can you use that?
Not really. I could still just do 2.
But yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, but we'll get into the zone, and it's part of our mantra and stuff like that. And that's why we dedicate a specific shrine in our crib for our setup with that nice butter Viper kitten fader. Yeah, shout out to Sid. Yeah. But no, I mean, like, and geez, I'm obsessive. Jeez, Octagon, good grief. Yo, I just put that on my Z2. That's so dope. But yeah, I mean, I think even like just physically, because you want to be able to live the rock. Some of us have kids, you want to be around. You know what I mean? And then just touching on like the drinking thing earlier, a lot of DJs aren't drinking no more. You know what I mean?
And to kind of like jump in, because I know Presto over the last so many years, you definitely had some health challenges that you were going through.
Yes.
Do you mind sharing with us a little bit, like what happened
Absolutely.
in your journey, like your recovery from that?
I'm actually recovering right now. I just went through my 5th open heart surgery. Yeah, my 5th. So I'm still here.
Glad you're still
Still
around,
here.
man.
Thank you.
Very,
Thank
very
you.
happy you're still here.
I appreciate that. I mean, it's not a walk in the park. It's not something you could just walk away from right away. But I'll tell you what. After this 5th time, I kind of knew what to expect. But I guess just to rewind, back in 2018, I went through I went through a very tumultuous point in my life and stuff like that, and then ended up having not 1 but 4 surgeries because they messed up on the first one. They messed up on the first one. Basically, like, they sent me home too early and all my wires busted open. So imagine like your bone just floating right inside you because they didn't tighten it up. You know what I mean? Then they sent me home way too early. So I had to be readmitted, and then they had to basically cut me open again. All right, graphic, guys. Here we go. They had to cut me open again and then suck out the infection before it reaches my heart.
Ooh.
Right? And then they had to let it heal and then go in again and suck it out. So they had to cut me open 3 more times to make sure that the infection was out of there. You know what I mean? Instead of going into sepsis, right?
Yeah.
So that was that. And this time they double wired me, so I was totally Iron Man. But the reason I had open heart surgery is because I was born with a condition called a bicuspid aortic valve, where from what I understand is that it's more like a birth anomaly. If there's some people, like some famous names out there who've had the same, but it's not. I wouldn't say it's common. It's not rare, but it's not common. But like Schwarzenegger has it. So if you ever heard about Arnold Schwarzenegger having multiple heart surgeries, that he has the same thing. Everlast from House of Pain, he has that. Some people have that. And anyways, in a nutshell, my heart has to work twice as hard to pump blood into my heart just to keep up with a normal person. So my valve was leaking, and they had to go in and change the valve. So anyways, after that, they sent me home. Oh, bones pop. Here we go. All right, let's get you back in. Cut me open 3 more times, and then I thought that was it. They said that the valve would have lasted me at least like a good 11 years, but I think it didn't. And then I actually had to get my surgery done again a year and a half ago.
Oh wow.
So now I'm actually finally getting back to my pre-op weight. I've been hitting the gym and, got on this dope diet. So now I'm back to like, where I was pre-op, and I'm fitting all my old clothes again. Cause, coming from surgery and stuff like that, just post-op is just, it's slow, man. You can't move. Like, imagine you getting cut open and you can't even get up out of bed to go to the bathroom. You need somebody to help you get out of bed because you can't put that kind of pressure on your arms to push yourself up. You know what I mean? And like, but you know what I did though? Pretty much as soon as I got home from the hospital, I turned on my turntables and I started scratching. I started cutting.
So it didn't stop you from cutting at all then?
Nah, I
So-
couldn't wait. I just popped. I got in my studio, just made a beat really quick, and I'm like, all right, yo, I'm gonna bug out, you know. And that was natural for me. It just, yo, let's get a sample. Let's cut. Boom, and I just went in. Because you want to know what the reality is? After my first surgery, my first round, I forgot how to DJ. I had so much brain fog, I forgot how to DJ. Like literally, like I was like day one trying to learn how to beat match.
Jeez.
Imagine that. Like I gone through so much brain fog, like I did not remember how to DJ. But I, you know, just through repetition and just trying to remember, you know, and then it all came back. And then next thing you know, I just went in guns blazing. You know, but yeah, this time around I didn't have to worry about that. And oddly enough, you know, this time around I actually did not have to take any pain meds either. I just used Tylenol.
Oh,
It's awesome.
do you
Yeah.
have any like inspirational words for people that might be going through those health conditions
Yes.
to help them along?
Keep your stress low. Literally, like really keep that stress low. Nothing's ever too stressful to kind of like keep into your orbit. You know what I mean? Because, you know, they say stress is the #1 killer, right? And that was what aggravated my, you know, because 2018, my initial surgery, my mother passed away, and, you know, I mean, and being in the nightclub industry, being in the DJ industry is stressful enough as it is, you know, so just ongoing stress added to a already pre-existing condition. So one of the only things that I could, you know, pass off to everybody is that keep your stress low. You know, even not just mental stress, not just physical stress, but even dietary stress. You know, like if you know that you're not eating the right stuff, then, you know, don't put yourself through that much stress trying to digest it or to try to process it. You know, and then like yeah, cool, yeah, I don't want to eat like a rabbit, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to like get down like that. Oh, I still want to enjoy food, you know, but like, you know, at least just be cautious. Like, hey, you're a day older every day. You know what I mean? And like your body's not gonna, you know, process things the same way. And like and then if you really love DJing and scratching and everything, then stick around. You know, do what's right for you, so you can stick around and keep doing it, and hopefully you can stick around and inspire some people.
Yeah, and that's what you're doing, man.
Absolutely, man.
For sure. Man, we're glad that you were able to overcome those challenges and still be here with us for sure.
Thank you.
So speaking too of like kind of touching back with camp and the health stuff, for those campers out there that may have certain health conditions, is there support for kids with like special needs at the camp?
Yeah. We've had kids of all different. That was actually kind of an early on challenge for me, was like doing the camp. I realized like, oh, like we have a nurse there and kids are checking in all the different medications. And I remember kind of being like, wow, lots of medications, you know, lots of different things. We had different kids with, you know, on the spectrum, which I think kids on the spectrum, music is like one of the best things, you know, like they're super in tune with music. And a lot of parents have told me that, and I've seen it at camp. So, and, you know, we've had like kids with all different types of things. And one of the nicest things about the camp family environment is that kids are really accepting, you know, and that's nice to see too. Cause yeah, we have different disabilities, different things, and we're open to all that. I'm actually really excited that we got clearance in Clark County to pull teens that are in foster care, which is great because if you're a teenager in foster care, this is something I think will be super beneficial, before like you age out of foster care. I was actually a foster parent for a year, so I had a 17-year-old, and yeah, it's something that's personal for me. So when I got that green light, I was like, sweet, we need to find kids in foster care that are interested in music and get their mindset out of like where they're stuck right now, and get them out to camp and get them like into music and meeting people and getting inspired. And going back to mental health, we're doing a big focus on specifically physical and mental health, because we realize that with youth and with us too, like that's more important than ever. So, yep, definitely. We're going to do some yoga and different like workout. Now that you're talking about, I'm like, Presto should do a workout of the day, but we're like, that's a great idea. So we definitely need to like that.
Let's
But
go.
that's the cool part about camp, is that all these things, it's like, the DJs, like we had DJ Ivy in LA teach yoga, like all the things are by DJs, which is cool because kids can grow up and say, yeah, when I was at camp, I did my morning workouts with Presto One, like it's these really unique things you get to do with DJs that in no other circumstance you would ever get to do.
Oh man, to add to that really quick, I did when I was on tour, I used to bring some of my turntables, right? So they would be in a flight case, right? And you guys know a flight case can be heavy, right? You know that, and it's
Probably like 50, 60 pounds, right?
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And you don't have one, well, you have two. You'd be like, and then somebody would go get the mixer or something like that. So, and I used to have this like push-up routine I would do on my flight cases, and I would push down, and then do a push-up, and then I would lift the flight case this way, and then put it down. It would be like a back pull. So I would work on like.
We need a video of this. We have to get a video of this. The Presto
He's gonna do
DJ
an online
workout.
school of working out. I'll
There you go,
subscribe.
Cuts
Yeah.
and get cut.
I was gonna say, Tina, why I brought that up in the first place, because growing up being a diabetic, I got to go to diabetic camp, and I didn't really know any other diabetics. So actually meeting other kids that were going through similar things was such a big thing to know that you're not alone and stuff. But it's like, I think everybody can agree that if there was a DJ camp when we were kids, we would have lost our minds. Like we would have never wanted to go home probably. So thank you so much for creating this opportunity for these youth, and it's definitely an inspiration for the whole DJ community. Are there any things outside of that, like projects that you two have coming up, or ways people can follow you on social medias?
I am pretty much just focused on camp, so you can follow me at DJ Tina T on Instagram and everything, and then you can follow the camp as well on Instagram at Camp Spinoff. But yeah, I'm dedicating pretty much all my time these days to planning camp this summer. I got into canine detection work, which is a whole rabbit hole that I won't get into because it's so much, and then still DJing. So yeah, that's what I'm up to.
Very, very cool.
And I am DJ Presto One, so at DJ Presto One, DJ PRESTOONE. That's my Instagram handle. I am not on TikTok. I probably should, maybe. I don't know, whatever. And I'm on. I've actually been focusing on my DJ school as well, the Fresh Foundation. I've been around for a long time, but this time I kind of just opened the gates to like teaching multiple people at once, because before it was just like a one-on-one session, So I've been teaching people for quite a long time, for goodness, for like 25 years now. So I got a lot of DJ babies out there, and
Oh my gosh.
Presto, where can we find the school at and get involved?
They can find the school at the Octagon. No, it's the freshfoundationlv.com, thefreshfoundationlv.com, and the Instagram is the Fresh Foundation LV. And I teach everything from beginner, intermediate, and advanced classes for DJing, as well as Ableton for DJ, so guys can learn how to make like their own edits, their own mashups, their own transitions, their own tools, just to make their set's that much more exclusive, and I do teach turntablism as well. You know, just some solid basics, you know, just to get them up and running so that they can add scratching to their mixes or use scratching as a mantra just like the rest of us do.
Presto, though, a little birdie chirped and told me there might be a Skratcher chapter opening in the future in Vegas. Is that true?
Yeah, you know what? I'd like to, I think that is definitely, the cogs are moving on that one. What's up? Skratcher Las Vegas.
That's right.
And
man.
we'll work on putting that together in coordination with everything. So, you know, just to build this whole Skratcher movement, right, guys?
Word
You know,
up.
I've been,
Yeah, man.
you know,
Let's
we're all
go.
family. I've been a fan, you know, of all you guys for a long time, and you know, we've all been friends for a long time. And you know, rest in peace, Wondercut. You know, I had Wondercut. Actually, he came in. He came in and scratched with me. He came to the Octagon.
Wow.
Oh, man.
You know. So yeah, you know, and then but yeah, I mean, you know, just I'm happy that podcasts like this exist. You know, I mean, the only outlet we probably had back then for scratching would have been like turntable radio.
Right.
Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Turntable radio, where like it was just songs, and then the guys would kind of talk. If you ever look up the old episodes, they're actually on Apple Music.
Oh, no way.
Oh, no
Radio.
way. No
Yeah.
way. They
Yeah.
are?
And it was like a UK like podcast, and they would do like interviews, and they would play all these like scratch songs that I've never heard before.
Wow.
Interesting.
Yeah, look up Turntable Radio, either Apple Music or Spotify. Should be on there. But yeah, I just bootleg all the episodes. Yeah, I'm working out the Turntable Radio. And that's where I would hear everybody from, like, you know, like old school critique, or some of the guys from Europe. I forgot so many, you know. But like yeah, and then gosh, I mean scratching. There.
Word. Also, too, because I mean, the scope of Skratcher is really just a worldwide network of scratch DJs and people that just love the culture. I mean, even too,
Right.
like you know, Tina with the South End Scratchers, you're already like grandfathered into Skratcher, like your Skratcher family
100%.
down by law. So, you know, it's just really just everybody being able to network together and build with each other and reach out and be able to make those connections and resources. So we really appreciate you two and everything that you've done for the whole scratch community and DJ community.
Yeah. for
Thank
reals.
you.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
thank you.
Salute.
Great to be part of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. My daughter's so excited. I'm going to send her out there in a couple of years, I promise. She's ready.
So, I mean, I guess at this point, we want to thank everybody for tuning in. This has been amazing. Shout out to all the campers that are going to have a blast. And big up the 2-click orbits for sure on
Big
Presto.
boy.
I gotta get one of those hats. Check out all the stuff that's coming out, and we'll see you back on the next episode.
Yep.
All right.
Peace out, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
So, y'all.